Douglas Cooling and Heating, serving the Birmingham area for 38 years. 988-3706. That's Douglas.
This is the Weather Xtreme video for Sunday, February the 20th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters, and it looks like it's going to be a nearly perfect day. How about some Skycam imagery this morning? There's a look at Gadsden. It's mostly clear sky, few clouds there off in the distance. A little bit of a almost mackerel sky looking at Coleman this morning, and then we can see the sun's rays beginning to color the eastern horizon, and a little bit of fog down at Demopolis, and the moon shining brightly up there. I didn't check to see if it was full, but it is certainly big, so it's close to full or almost full or just past full. I'm not sure. Surface map this morning, we're still missing all the fronts and surface identifications and symbols, most of them, but fog still a problem across Florida and the Gulf Coast, and snow still a problem in the Rockies, all the way from Arizona and New Mexico all the way up to Idaho and Montana, including Wyoming and parts of Colorado. So just like we showed yesterday, it looks like much of the weather is benign across the southeastern quarter of the country, but certainly active elsewhere. In the upper atmosphere, we're still dealing with that really large trough on the west coast, the ridge keeping the eastern half of the country relatively warm, and it's going to stay that way at least for a couple more days, although we will be cooling off around Tuesday. Again, temperatures very warm. Look at that, 50s and 60s all the way up into Kansas. Wow. I know we think this is warm, but for them, that's got to be really something. Melt away some of that snow cover that was up there. Across central Alabama, temperatures generally in the upper 40s for the most part. A few readings into the 50s, like Birmingham at 55. Again, the watch warning map kind of shows the story of how we're staying out of the mix of problems this morning. Winter storm and winter weather advisories stretching all the way from New York, across the Great Lakes and the Chicago area, all the way back over into the northern Rockies and then down into the southern Rockies. And some of those brown areas in Texas, Kansas, Arkansas are wind advisories. QPF-wise, not expecting a great deal of rain. It looks like much of that rain will come Monday afternoon, evening, and into early Tuesday morning, and then we have another chance coming basically Thursday night, Friday morning, but not a great deal of rain. Storm Prediction Center, in their extended forecast for Thursday, is looking for the possibility of severe storms in an area from northeast Texas all the way up to western Kentucky, including places like Little Rock, Memphis, and locations like that. All right, the 06Z GFS model run, and here we go. There's the surface high, keeping us warm and mild. By the way, we hit 76 yesterday at the Birmingham International Airport, and that ties the record for this date. So a record-tying day yesterday, and we may be close today, too. In the upper atmosphere, a little piece of energy comes out of that big trough on Monday, President's Day, and that should bring some rain chances our way, especially in the afternoon and evening hours across the southeastern U.S. But again, I think rain will be somewhat spotty. The rain should sweep on out as the flow remains very fast, and that trough in shortwave moves on quickly and gets on out of here, and we begin to build back into a ridge. The ridge gets a little stronger, very strong up into Canada, and across the eastern third of the country on Wednesday. And the ridge still there on the East Coast on Thursday. But another piece of energy is coming out across the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles, and that will be bringing a relatively vigorous storm. And, of course, this is the one that the Storm Prediction Center is looking at the possibility of some severe weather. And we'll certainly be keeping our eyes on it. I think while there are some features there, the dynamics don't appear to be all that strong for severe weather in our neck of the woods. Of course, we might see or hear some thunderstorms with that. Again, the flow is very, very fast, as you can notice by the tightness of the contours, and that short wave, of course, weakens as it moves away from the west coast, and so that means that the system should blast on through, paving the way for a fairly nice Friday afternoon. We stay in a bit of a zonal flow with just a slight ridge pattern to it on Saturday, which I think means we'll essentially be dry. And then on Sunday, and we're kind of zipping out a little further here into Monday as well, there comes a big piece of energy coming out of that big trough on the west coast, and that will pave the way for a fairly significant low-pressure system to develop in the southern Rockies. And like I said, we're going to zip into Monday a little further into the edge of voodoo country here, and here it comes across Missouri, and so that paves the way for, I think, a really big severe weather threat across the central part of the country and perhaps down into the southeastern U.S., and that is likely to be our next really big rain event. Now, getting further into voodoo country, the action just keeps coming at us. As you can see, the trough remains out. The major trough, the long wave trough position, remains out to our west, and another energy shot is coming out of that, coming across the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles. And then once again, another short wave coming across the flow on the 7th of March. So it looks like there's no lack of action in the weather department. Well, appreciate you tuning into the Weather Xtreme video. James Spann should be back with the next edition bright and early on Monday morning, President's Day. In the meantime, I hope that you have a great Sunday and Godspeed.
Each day there are new stories to tell about the people who live here and the place we call home.
All of the faces that I see, all of the places close to me, they're all part of all the best things about home.
Sharing your stories on ABC 3340, Alabama's news leader.